Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me for this webinar around HR analytics. My name is Rousseau Kluwer. I am the business manager at Decision Inc. for data information and analytics. And essentially, I'm going to take you guys through today through one of our HR analytics solutions. It's an Accelerator, and it's quite interesting, some of the insights we're going to be discussing. And like I said, afterwards, we can do a question and answers a couple of minutes to just go and answer a couple of questions. So just before I start, I want to do a company introduction just so you have an idea what Decision Inc. is doing and where we fit in and what we have to offer. So it's going to be a quick couple of minutes. So I've got a slide here which essentially summarizes Decision Inc. very quickly as a company. We are one of the leading information management companies in South Africa, and we have three main services that we have on offer. This one is information strategy, where we literally sit with our clients. We understand what they require. This can be in the short, medium, or long term, and we help them put together a roadmap for their information management strategy. And then from there, we've got technology consulting. That's essentially where we, after helping our clients put together a roadmap or a strategy for information management, we help them implement it. And in the last year, we've implemented about 450 projects. So we are quite good at implementing the projects itself. And last, we've got analytical services. And this is essentially where we assist our clients when we've built solutions for them to have a look at the information and gain the insights and help our clients then realize the value out of these insights. You can see that we are not focused just on one industry. We play in a lot of industries. We've got lots of knowledge in the various industries. We don't just use one technology. We're tool agnostic. We understand what the client's needs are and what the solution they require, and we basically select the best technology to solve the business problem. So yeah, we're tool agnostic, and it's a very good approach to solving business problems in the information management space. Okay, so that's essentially Decision Inc. in a very high level overview. I'm going to move now into the HR analytics model. Just hang on a bit. I just want to share my screen. This HR Accelerator, it includes various analysis for HR that we've kind of built the overview model, and we've included a whole lot of different analytics into this model. Now, what I also mentioned is that sometimes we build HR solutions around specific areas. So for instance, you can see that this HR Accelerator model includes overtime, but it's a very, how can I say, a light version of overtime, because for some companies overtime is very important. So we would build an overtime solution specifically just on overtime, and we've done that for quite a bit of mines. Now, just to go and recap what I've been saying is that if we have a look at this company, this is demo data out of VIP as the ERP source system. It's basically a headcount that's moving sideways. Headcount is down by 2, and we're going across the various KPIs. Now, this is just a couple of KPIs that I found most commonly being analyzed by a lot of my clients. There is a lot of KPIs, and they kind of differ by client. Some KPIs might be more important for one client, whereas the other one might be more important for another client. But if we have a look at this specific demo company, we can see that the account is moving sideways with a 0.44%. Turnover is not looking bad at all. It's like a 0.13, kind of talks back to your headcount. And then leave, for some reason, leave is down by about what? If we say down, it's reduced by 28%. Now that can actually be good or bad, because it can give you indication that your annual leave is building up, which this can be an indication of a financial implication. If annual leave is building up, this means if the employees had to leave, how much leave in terms of annual leave do you need to pay out? So that can be a good or a bad thing. And then overtime is, for some companies, it's important, especially if they have large how can I say, groups of employees working shifts, then overtime is quite important. And overtime has been reduced, which is good. But if you have a look, there's an increase in the payroll, looking at 12%. So there might be in this 12% a bit of an inflationary increase as well. So we're probably looking at a real percentage, increased percentage of about 6%. Now, if we go and have a look, I just want to show you, it's very interesting, the trend graphs that you can see. So obviously we can go now and dive into each one of these KPIs, but I just want to show you this trend graph. Now, it's showing headcount build up over time. And interesting enough, if you have a look over here, there's a sudden drop in headcount. Now, a lot of times we look at HR and headcount and demographics data, we're looking at it at a table point of view if you have a look over here. But the view completely differs as soon as you start visualizing it. And we've got it stacked here over different dimensions. Now you can see the headcount, yes, it was actually moving sideways, but at some stage it was about 550 and then it dropped suddenly. And we can actually go and analyze what happened in that drop. So it gives you a complete different picture when you start visualizing your HR data like this. I just want to show you if we start cycling through the various dimensions. I mean, this is obviously now data that it's demonstration data, so the departments is not real departments. But if we start going cycle through, we can go and analyze cost centers, what makes up my headcounts, races, genders, and a whole lot age groups, a whole lot of different dimensions. Occupational level obviously being one of the most important ones. Now, what I want to show you is years of service. Now, if you have a look over here, and let's just do a bit of an analysis, we can see that if we go down, a lot of the years of service are between what's it, 2 and 4, 4 and 6, and 6 and 8. If you have a look over there, they actually, as the headcount is growing, they're actually declining. You can clearly see that the gray and the purple and the green is actually getting less. Now, if you have to go and click on that, for instance, you can see that this is employees with 4 to 6 years of experience. Now, they basically been trained up, and this is a lot of the times you're going to see that it forms a bulk of your workforce. They've been trained up, and a lot of times also very driven in their career still. And there's a lot of training that went in to skill these people up. And with this specific demonstration company, we can kind of see that that group of people is actually now declining, which is not what you want. And if we go back, you can see it's actually happening for the other groups of users as well. So we got a 2 to 4, which is declining, and a 6 to 8. And if we later on, if we go into the model, you can clearly see these are the largest group of employees in your HR model. So what you also see is 0 to 2. That is nicely growing, obviously, as they employing more of those people, upskilling them. Okay, so we're going to have a look at the headcount analysis. So we saw just now we actually have a declining group of headcount, and the employees are between 4 and 6 years of experience. Now, I just want to show you, this is a different visualization. The previous one was a line chart stacked. This is a bar chart. So just there's so many different ways to visualize it over time. And we can have a look again over various dimensions. And if I have to go and click, I just want to go back to years of service, which we're analyzing in the moment. If you have to go and click again on 4 to 6, we can see the decline. And now we can go and analyze where is it happening. We can see age groups. There's a 20% decrease in this specific years of service. And we can go and see where the decline is happening. Let's go. And so you can see the largest amount of decline. The age groups are between 25 and 50, 30 and 35, and what's that? 35 and 40. So a lot of the and the contribution percentage is also, there's a lot of employees sitting in that area, and you're actually losing these employees. So if we go and clear and look at the total set, you can see there's the contribution percentages. They are still the biggest group, and you can now see that there is, in 2013, there's actually, some of them have grown, but a lot of them have actually declined. Okay, so it gives us quite a good indication of what's going on in headcount. Now, if we go into age analysis specifically, if we go and select years of service, I just want to show again. Between 4 and 6, we've identified we're losing a lot of employees in that area. To the right, we got a bell curve, which is it's quite good representation of what's going on. Again, we can see by the age groups, a lot of our employees are sitting for 4 to 6 years of service is sitting between 25 to 40 years, and you can see steadily over this headcount over time it is actually decreasing. So this can talk to the retention strategy of the company. Are they implementing the right strategy to retain their talent after they've trained them up? Because obviously, like I said just now, training your employees up, there's cost involved for companies, and this can talk to whether the company has a good retention strategy or not. So if we move over to length of service, so what we're seeing over here, I just want to clear quickly. So quite interestingly, this is a calculated figure. So average length of service for this company specifically is actually just over 9 years now. Depending on the company, that might be high or low. This company, 10 years is quite a bit. But if you think about the people that we're losing in, if you go and have a look at headcount again, that group of users we're losing over here, they all below the average length of service. So if we had a better retention strategy, this will obviously go up, and we can then go and improve retaining our employees in the right age groups after training them up and skilling them up. And also, I just want to show you, you can quite clearly see that the bulk of the employees for this company is sitting between 0 and 4 years of experience. So if we go on, and this is now moving into the employees movement analysis. Now, previously on the dashboard, we could see a clear drop in the headcount. Now, employee movements is essentially your recruitments, your terminations, and how that is affecting your employee headcount build up over time. Now, this is a very interesting graph. We've modeled the data specifically to show you this kind of visualization, because essentially what it's doing is, well, first of all, the first month we recruited everybody to give you a starting figure, and then we're showing at the top in a different color, we're showing the recruitments, that is people coming on, and then terminations, people dropping off, and how it affects your headcount at a specific point in time over time. And there you can see a massive amount of terminations, and all of a sudden headcount dropping down quite significantly. And I also worked in some transfers, which is now, if you have a look over here, the movement type XO represents transfers. I've kind of modeled that into the data just to show you that you can go and visualize all of the different types of movements for your employees. So this is a very nice visual way to analyze recruitments, terminations, and how it's affecting your headcount. Now, if we have a look, I just want to show you what else. I mean, there's obviously the normal kinds of recruitments, current versus prior year, over time. Do have terminations as well. And this is recruitments versus terminations, essentially showing you in a different way. Obviously, if you had a whole lot of terminations versus recruitments, headcount will go down. And there's a comprehensive build-up table where you can kind of go and analyze how all the movements built up to the current headcount, which is a lot of detail. Now, if we go back, just want to show you over here, when we spoke about years of service and retaining employees between 2 years and 8 years of service, you can have a look at, let's have a look at 2013. So these terminations. So if you have a look over there, 2012, there was 2 to 4 years of service. We had 21 recruitments and 66 terminations. So you can clearly see that there is an indication of talent and experienced people that's been trained up that's kind of leaving the company. Again, talking to the retention strategy of the company. Are they implementing the right how can I say, strategy to retain their talent within the company. So once again, also, if you want to go and analyze this spike in headcount, you can very easily do that. If you go and have a Qlik, we can clearly see, okay, a lot of this terminations, it was actually happening in years of service where we don't want it to happen. If you have a look, it happened in 2012, a massive outflow of terminations between the years of services 2 and 4, 4 and 6, 6 and 8. Is exactly what we said. We're talking to this sample company's retainment strategy. Okay, so then you can go and cycle through it, and you can see where is the cost centers and the races. You can see clearly there's some dirty data going through here. Obviously, with a visualization technology like Qlik View and all of the other technologies like you have a Qlik Sense and a Power BI and Tableau, it's going to show out your dirty data in your system, which allows you to then obviously go and improve the quality of your data. But yeah, there you can see I've got a null coming in. And a lot of these people that's been terminated is actually male, and only 1 female. And recruitments, there was 7 and 1, which obviously then equates to this massive headcount drop. So I just want to clear all of that. So it's quite easy out of that to see what's going on in your employee movements. Looking at staff turnover, now this is one KPI that's also a lot of times focused on. So this, what I've seen across companies, turnover is calculated in various different ways. This is a very simple turnover calculation. I'm looking at terminations at that specific point in time versus the headcount at a specific point in time to give you a very basic turnover calculation. Now, if you look at this, again, the visualization is so interesting. I've overlaid the turnover rate over the headcount and the terminations. And once again, that massive drop in terminations and headcount over there equated to this spike that you can clearly see in the turnover rate. So obviously that is an outlier, and we're going to find out. So, I mean, we saw that it's employees between the years of service of 2 and 8 years of service. We know that a lot of them are male. We know that, and what we can say then is that if we click on it, we can kind of drill down and get some more detail. But I mean, if we go and click on it, let's just see if I can make a selection over here. Yeah, we can go and have a look over here. A lot of them male. Determinations. If we start cycling over it, this is age groups. Again, it's sitting between the age groups of 25 to 40. Determinations. Interesting enough, turnover rate, if you have a look, there's a couple of employees, which, I mean, this is massive amounts of service, 75 to 80 years of service. I don't know if that might be a bit of dirty data as well, but obviously you can go and use this to identify employees for succession planning. We got a couple of employees that is probably going to be up for retirement within the next couple of years, and you can see obviously that is very normal for your turnover rate and obviously to go up as these employees are approaching retirement. So then again, if you have a look, there's a couple of employees here. You're gonna have to plan for them by new recruitments to replace them or people being promoted into that position. So it gives you a very nice visual indication of where turnover rate is happening. So just want to scroll. Yeah, so that's a bit of a, some of them gives you a kind of a different result. Okay, so essentially just want to reset the model. So turnover rate, you can go and analyze quite in depth. This is a very high level view. And like I said, it varies. What I've seen turnover rate calculations varies quite a bit by company. The other KPI that a lot of companies focus on is obviously their BE analysis. This one is also, I've got a bit more of an in-depth model which I can show you, but this is also a high-level view of your BE analysis. Now, what we've done over here, we've basically got we got races at the top, we got genders on the side, occupational levels, obviously very important, as well as job grades. Now, this is a basic overview that you can see, okay, a lot of them are African, male, and that's a percentage. We've got colored, we've got white. And then, of course, we can see over occupational levels, junior management, what is the percentage thereof, So you can see in this sample company, for instance, a lot of the skilled or semi-skilled people are African males, which means that you have to go and increase your training to improve your BEE and transformation. So it gives you a very good visual indication of what's necessary in terms of your company's training strategy to upskill your employees and all of those necessary things. So this is a nice visualization and a way of looking at it. It can be very in-depth as well. And what we've done for a lot of our companies as we build, when we build HR reporting packs, we actually automate. So this is visualization and analysis information, but we can go and build reporting packs in a specific format that uses all of this information to automate it. So essentially you get an HR report back at the end of the month, and it contains all the necessary headcount and let's say staff turnover, employee movements, recruitments, terminations, your BE, in a report back in a specific format. This is just to give you an indication of what's going on currently in this company. Now, these first couple of sheets, they all focus on headcount and demographics, and we're kind of slicing and dicing your workforce to find out, what are they consisting of in terms of genders and races, and length of service we saw is very important. This company is losing a lot of skilled people, or people that was trained up, and maybe they need a better retention strategy. So this, a lot of times we say is, almost want to say HR 101. Most companies start off with their headcount and demographics. The other important area for a lot of companies is leave. Now, as far as I understand, with a lot of my clients, if I interact with them, annual leave, we actually measure how much annual leave is left over. Because the build-up of leave, obviously, like I said previously, if we have a lot of employees building up leave, it kind of gives you an indication of a financial impact that could happen if some of your employees started leaving the company. And I've got a very nice analysis, which I'm going to show you just now, of how visualized information can help you identify, almost want to say, the human behavior behind taking leave and sick leave and the cost around it. So just want to start off by showing you guys, we've got an average number of leave days, which is a calculated number. But interestingly enough, this average is actually below the Basic Employment Act, about 15 days, if I understand correctly. So in this, clearly not all the employees are taking their leave over here. So off the bat, just looking at leave without really taking or making any selections, we can see that there's probably a couple of employees that's not taking enough leave. Now, if we have a look at the table over here, just giving us some basic information, we've got headcounts, current versus prior, so it shows us how many people we have versus how many leave days are being taken. And there is a decrease in leave days. Now, and for instance, in this case, it might be that employees are building up annual leave days, which means that you'll have to go, well, not go, but you'll probably have to, in some cases, ask the employees to take leave because building up annual leave days, like I said, might be a bit of a problem when it needs to be paid out. Now, if you have a look at the trend, so obviously, once again, we can analyze by various dimensions, occupational levels, years of service, departments and cost centers, races and genders. You can see everything is moving together. But what is quite interesting is this massive spike over here in the middle of nowhere. You can see this outlier right over there. So I just want to move into a bit of a less busy. Let's just do genders, less busy dimension. Okay, yeah, so we've got a spike over here, and we kind of like, okay, this is not normal if you look at the rest of the trend. So once again, you can go and click on it and kind of find out what happened. And yes, there was special leave that was taken. So there can be various reasons for this, once again, to bring down your leave balances because there might have been a build-up of annual leave. So it clearly shows to you at this specific point in time, something happened and a lot of leave was taken by the employees. Now, what I want to show you quite interestingly, and whereas annual leave is, it's kind of like I said, we're measuring the balances of how many leave days are left. With sick leave, it's kind of the reverse. We're looking at how much sick leave is being taken. Now, if we just go and select sick leave, I've got all the leave types at the top. Interestingly enough, most sick leave for this company is actually being taken on a Monday. Now, the question over here is, and this is very interesting because this models human behavior. The question would be, is this company's policy of, a lot of companies have the policy, if you take sick leave on a Friday and a Monday, you need a doctor's note. The question might be, is this policy being effectively implemented or applied in this company? And in this case, it might say no, because out of all the other days of the week, we can clearly see there was frequency, that's 610 occurrences over the 4 years, 1,728 days of sick leave, only sick leave, not even annual leave, being taken on a Monday. Now, I just want to show you, if we go and we go over here, we got the actual names of the employees taking the sick leave. I mean, that's a massive amount of sick leave. I mean, the question would be, well, why is this person taking so much sick leave? I don't even know. That was probably special permission. But what I want to show you, if we now go and select 2013, what we've built in here is a leave occurrence tracker. So we know sick leave on a Monday for 2013 is still a problem. And we want to go and identify this behavior. Now, for instance, if we go and we have a look, let's just have a look. Actually want to show a specific employee. For instance, this employee, the leave occurrence tracker, and tracking the leave taken by this specific employee across the leave first taken days, so this is the weekdays, for the last 4 years. And it's showing you the occurrences. Now, if you start scrolling to the right, you're going to see some interesting behavior. For instance, this specific employee has been consistently taking sick leave on a Thursday for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months in a row. So that is a pattern that's showing that this person might be using unnecessary amount of sick leave. If you have a look at 2012-10, this person took four occurrences where the person took sick leave every Monday. So it's very easy to go and see patterns and in your employees' use of sick leave. I mean, there might be valid reasons for that, but this allows you to go and visualize and identify what's going on. And then, of course, you can go and get your sick leave under control. So it's very interesting to see that happening in the sick leave area. Now, what I've also built into this accelerator, we've got leave cost. Now, a lot of times we track the amount of leave being taken or annual leave being built up. We actually don't focus on the cost that is related to this leave. Okay, so if you have a look quickly, let me just show you what I mean. So for instance, if we jump back to sick leave, we go into 2013. If you have a look, that Monday sick leave is literally working out to about 473,000 Rand. So bringing your leave under control, especially sick leave and also annual leave, you can't really control that, but it needs to be taken at the right times if possible. But looking at your sick leave, that can literally go, if we can identify areas that it's not being used appropriately, sick leave, you can actually reduce the cost of leave taken. So just want to show you, a lot of times we look at leave days, but looking at the cost gives you a whole new perspective around leave. So we've worked in leave cost analysis as well. And just to show you, if I clear literally over all the days, most leave is being taken on a Monday, and across all the years, that was 11 million rands just on leave on a Monday. So it gives you a very nice perspective, a new perspective on how leave can be analyzed. Now, overtime is a big thing for a lot of companies. It depends on how your company operates. So like I said, mining, a lot of mines are focusing, and companies that have large groups of employees working shifts, they are quite big on overtime. So we've built solutions just on overtime. This one gives you a nice overview of overtime in your company, even if it's not that important to you. And we've got basically overtime being taken by genders. Again, you can go and have a look at different dimensions. We've got overtime in terms of your hours and then of the rand values itself. Now, interestingly enough, if you go and select 2013, the same person that was taking a lot of sick leave is also taking or working a lot of overtime hours. Now, once again, is this related to each other? It might be, might not. It might also be in the inverse because the person might be taking sick leave because the person is working too much overtime hours. So there might be an analysis between your leave and the amount of overtime being taken. So once again, visualizing all of this allows you to go and do that analysis. This specific person that took a lot of sick leave is actually for 2013 also costing you additional 203,000 Rand in overtime and 645 overtime hours. Now, in certain industries, there is regulations where people can't work a specific amount of overtime hours. They must be, I think in a lot of the mines, it's 40 to 60 for specific grades of job. But you can see this, some of these, for instance, October, that was 55 hours of overtime. And I mean, that being done consistently over a year, it might not be good for the employees. So this also gives you a very nice overview of what can happen in overtime. Like I said, it can be much more in detail. And then lastly, what we've done in this specific accelerator, we've had a look at payroll. Now, what I picked up some companies, they don't analyze, for instance, this specific accelerator. We didn't add payrolls to such a detailed level. They want an overview by different dimensions to understand where the payroll is going. And if you have a look over here, I've broken it down. We got basic. Just want to select 2013. We've got basic, and it's broken down into various additional tax, disability contribution, medical, and all of those things. What is quite interesting, the amount of overtime being paid out versus the basic. So overtime is quite a bit on the high side for the specific company. Just clearing, you can see there's a specific trend of payroll increasing, which can be due to inflationary increases and even promotions as well. So this is quite normal over time to see payroll to increase. It can be due to various reasons. And then lastly, what we do for a lot of our clients, we give them the power to build HR reports on the fly. We call this custom reports. So just to quickly show you, it mimics that of dimensions and measures. So for instance, if I want to see a quick report by current number of employees, we've got race group, genders, so you can click whatever you need and essentially go and export that to Excel. So with all these visualizations, we got across in the different tabs. It's very, very quick. Go and build using our HR custom reports, build your own table, and then export that essentially to Excel very quickly. Okay, so this is essentially the HR Accelerator. I just want to show you, so you can see these various visualizations. This is done in Qlik view. I almost want to say this is a classic visualization of Qlik view, and if you just have a look at our newer accelerator that we brought out, so the look and feel has changed quite a bit. It's much more clean look and feel, much more sleek. We added filters, which you can see is hide and show just to maximize the real estate. So we've gone and kind of pushed our visualizations for across all our accelerators, but also for HR, literally to the maximum. And then what I mentioned also when I was going through the demonstration, in our accelerator model, we had some, how can I say, analysis around BEE, but this is an example that we've done where we can go in depth and dive into BEE compliance dashboarding, for instance, just to show we have procurement, employment equity, sustainable growth and development. And we basically worked out a scorecard to get to a specific score and then eventually a level. Now, the different sheets to the right over here then gives you the breakdown of how we got to that score. So just to give you an idea that we can go, like I said, with overtime, we build in-depth analysis. We can do that in BEE as well, and all the various areas of the specific HR KPIs that's important to your company. Okay, so that's essentially what I wanted to show you guys today around HR analytics. Thank you everyone for joining us for the session on HR analytics. Like I said just now, this one is in Qlik. We are doing it in Qlik Sense. We're busy putting it into Power BI, excellent tool, Tableau as well. And it fits on top of various source systems. And the concept is working quite well, I must say. Reduces a lot of the implementation time. If you guys want to get in contact with me, you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm pretty sure our marketing department will post contact details. And please go and have a look at some of our example solutions and case studies on our website to get a bit more information. So thank you everyone for joining us. Much appreciated. And I hope I'm going to see you guys in some of our other webinars. We also run sales, procurement, and finance in the future. Thank you very much, and have a good day.